hope you guys can hear me. Today's video is going to be me showing you an update with Kamani on how she is doing with me getting on the stirrups. I updated my Instagram and my TikTok and my TikTok and my Facebook, but if you don't follow me on there, you might not have seen the update, so that's why I'm doing an update for you guys. Now, I've already lunched her and warmed her up, but just to show you guys kind of my routine with her, I'm going to run you through what we do, because I in no way really ever go out and just throw my foot right into the stirrup of a colt that hasn't been worked. So no, definitely not. So normally I bid her up, but we just did like 10-15 minutes of that, so I'm not going to do that to her again, but I will throw the reins up here. And to show you a little hack, I take my reins, run them through the D-ring of the breast collar down. And the reason I do this isn't bidding her up. The reason I do this is if this happens to come off, my reins aren't going to fall. She's not going to step through the reins and pull on herself and hurt her mouth or get wrapped up in the rein and be yanking on her mouth. So that is why I do that. So I'm just going to show you kind of the basics of what Kamani and I do on a daily. I hope you guys can hear me. So we're going to desensitize. Of course, we always desensitize. When wouldn't you? We're going to smack the saddle. Didn't mean to do that. My aim's kind of off. Gonna shake the stirrups. Then I would normally send her around without bidding her up. Couple laps of walk, couple laps of trot, couple laps of canter, with lots of changes of directions and warming her up. I would then bid her up. So, just kind of ignoring me there, so I'm going to get after her a little bit. So she's already warmed up and ready, but it doesn't hurt to put some extra lunging on her, round penning on her. Lots of changes of directions. The goal is not necessarily to wear her out. The main reason I do the bidding up is two reasons. One, it shows me if she's being soft or if she's fighting the bit. Two, it makes her put her head down and use her back muscles. So I always bring them in, and automatically I don't have the reins attached. I only have them attached right now because we've already done it. What I was saying here is I don't bid them up the minute that I put the bid on and get them working, because I don't want it to be straight away a bad experience or straight away they're bidded up the minute that the bid's in their mouth. She's gonna do it. There she goes. Had to ask again. Now she's got the funniest canter. I don't know what she really reminds me of. Kind of like raining. Get after her there a little bit. She kind of canters like a reining horse or a pleasure. I'm not really too focused on her keeping the canter through the turn. Gotta build up to that. She's got the strangest canter. The next thing that I do, I shake the stirrups, let her know that they're there. So again, she kind of goes to sleep sometimes and forgets that they're there. And then when she touches them, when she flexes, she jumps or kicks out and kind of has a little baby moment. So we do some flexing, and she's very, very light on this side. Hope you guys can hear me. Again, same thing on this side. Got my stirrups. Make sure she's not worried. Flex her. She's always been a little stiff on this side. That's okay, we're working through it. You can see she's bringing her head in really nice, but she's not actually bending. There, she went and bended. Good. So the next thing is I practice my neck reining on the ground. Just gonna practice a little bit of tug. There. Release. There. See how I just had to tug once and she's like, okay, I got it. Just practice all the basics. There, that was really good. Now, one thing I've changed is I'm doing all these exercises except for the neck craning, because that's kind of hard to do in one place, on the stool above her, just so that, you know, there's one thing from doing it on the ground and there's one thing from doing it above her. She's got to get used to both. So we're going to ask her here to back up. Just going to hold steady pressure. She kind of shifted her weight, so I'll reward that to show her that you've got the right idea. We'll ask again. Now what she's doing right here is freezing because there's that, boo! There's that turkey. She sees the turkeys. You know, I thought at first she'd be a great trail horse, but she freaks out over every single wildlife animal. Like her attention over here, please. Back her up. Come on. So she gets a little firm and doesn't want to back up. I'm going to start there, rocking the bit. Now I won't move on to the next thing until she's soft. I'm going to wrap my hand around that horn and help myself with some leverage because I'm short. There. Another way I'll back her up is just right underneath the bit, grab here and pull. And there she's a little bit softer. So the next thing is flexing on the opposite side. I'm just gonna, there. I was gonna say I'm just gonna crank and kind of hold until she gives. See her fighting? There, she gave. Now I don't do this like 10 of them a day or anything like that. I do them just until she shows me that she can be soft a couple times in a row. They can be soft one time, or maybe even 2 or 3. Come that third or fourth or fifth time, they're going to fight you. They don't want to do it anymore. I gave, so just leave me alone. So, we'll go up to the stool next. So I'm going to kind of push her out and pull forward. And the reason I'm doing this, there, is yesterday, I didn't film it, but when I asked her to come forward and she was looking at a bunny the way she's looking at the turkeys, she walked right into the stool and knocked me off the stool. Now, I was on the first step, so it's not a big deal. The point is, I just want to know, I want her to know, look, I want you to come forward, but move out a little bit. Like, watch where you're going, you know? Tap all over. Let her know I'm up here. And we're going to ask her to flex like I would if I was in the saddle right now. And look at that. She gets to see me from the other side. There. She was kind of leaning, so I was just kind of waiting till she stopped leaning. A lot of people will say, dude, just get on the freaking horse already. Well, I don't want it to be a bad experience, and I don't want to get hurt, and I don't want her getting hurt. So on this side, see how soft she's going to be? That's very good. Now, I love today, you can see she's kind of worried about the turkeys, but her attention's more on me because in my other videos, I've showed you how to correct those issues. So I'm going to bring her head in and I wrap it. Just going to apply some pressure. I always start off back at the beginning. You never know how they're going to react that day. See how she kind of got her head away a little bit there, even though I have it wrapped 3 times. That's very good. Now before I go to the next step, I'm going to release her and let her think about that. So I'm going to pull her head back in. This is why it's important to make sure you got them flexed good, or you're going to end up in a wreck. Right here, she's kind of pushing me off the stool with her head because I have to have her in tight. Now I'm going to bounce and tap, stand up and tap. Stand. That is going to end today's video, and I'll see you in my next one. I have a couple filmed. Bye, guys.